just got finished fixing the storm from Ian. I just got finished. I have one more door to paint in my house. And now I have to replace the whole thing again. It's not getting any better. It seems to be getting worse.
People on the Florida coast are coming back to their homes to find devastation left behind by Hurricane Milton. I'm Gadi Schwartz, and this is Stay Tuned Now. At least 17 people are dead and over 2 million people are still without power days after Milton slammed into Florida, and first responders are still coordinating a massive search and rescue operation. In Tampa, where Milton is being called a 1 in 1,000 year rain event, the Hillsborough Sheriff's Office rescued a 91-year-old woman trapped in her home by 6-foot floodwaters. But amid those rescues, we're starting to learn more about the victims of this deadly storm, like 66-year-old Deborah Kennedy. She was killed when a tornado tore across her retirement community on Florida's East Coast. Deborah leaves behind her children and her grandchildren. And between these moments of heartbreak, we're also reminded of all the familiar circles of life, like this story from Pinellas County.
We had a beautiful baby girl that was born in one of our shelters. Our shelter staff helped with the delivery. So just beautiful to see that new life, in the middle of all of this destruction.
And she's not the only one. In a few minutes, NBC's Steve Romo is going to tell us about the birth of little baby Dewey, whose mom was watching Milton's devastation happen from her hospital window before going into labor. Meanwhile, it looks like one of the largest evacuations in Florida history is being credited with saving lives. But as people start returning to their homes, we're also getting early estimates on what this storm will cost. Today, during an update on his administration's response, President Biden put the cost at nearly $50 billion. And just a week after visiting homes hit by Hurricane Helene, the White House says the president will return on Sunday to visit areas impacted by Milton. NBC News correspondent Gad Venegas is in Fort Myers, Florida. Gad, thanks for being with us. What's the latest with search and rescue, and are they still finding people?
Gadi, conditions are expected to change over the weekend, so we could see more rescues, especially with the rivers flooding. We expect a lot of the rivers to crest over the weekend. Because of the geography here in Florida, there's not much elevation in parts that are away from the coast. So a lot of the rain that came down with that hurricane has slowly made its way running off into the rivers. That water is now making its way on these rivers towards the Gulf or the Atlantic. This means that communities along these rivers could be flooding over the weekend. So places like Pasco County could be seeing more rescues into Saturday and Sunday. Hillsborough County, this is the largest county in the Tampa area, did inform us that they were done. They informed us that they were done with rescues today, but as conditions change with a lot of these rivers over the weekend, we could be seeing more rescues. Gadi?
And Gad, people are starting to come back to their homes. What's step one for somebody that comes back and starts wading through that devastation?
Well, Gadi, it depends on the damage that they sustained, right? So when you think of people that live right off the water that had the storm surge come in, this is probably going to be the worst damage. A lot of these residents are going to return to homes where everything is damaged inside. When water gets in there, a foot or 2 feet of water ruins everything. Furniture, appliances, everything that gets water has to be taken out. They're asking residents to do their best at trying to get everything out and bring it out to the curb right next to the street, because trash pickup is expected to begin next week. For residents in neighborhoods like the one I'm in, this is one of the neighborhoods that was affected by some of the tornado reports. So the residents here said that hours before the hurricane hit, they heard the loud noise of a tornado. There were tornado reports in the area, and they saw damage to a lot of these properties. You can see some of the stuff that has already been pushed out by these residents. We've got some down power lines over here. The house across the street from me is missing half of its roof, and they had contractors working on getting some of that debris outside. So depending on the type of damage, a lot of them are going to be working at cleaning up a lot of the debris, bringing it outside to begin with that cleanup process as they wait for the power to be installed again, because we have a lot of damage to the power infrastructure. We've got utility poles that have been broken in half. So we have a lot of work that still needs to happen before they have power and all the necessary services as they begin cleaning up their properties. Gadi?
And Gad, speaking of power, have they gotten any indication on how long the restoration of power could take?
Well, Gadi, this morning the governor had a press conference where Duke Energy, this is one of the companies that provides services to one of the largest affected areas. Duke Energy said they expected people to get their power back within days and not weeks. But we've also heard from local officials that the damage is too much and it could be a long time. What we have seen just in this neighborhood that was affected, I can see from where I'm looking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 utility poles that have been broken in half, that have power lines that are down, that have not been assessed by authorities. One of the residents here said they called yesterday asking the company to come take a look and see what they could do. They told the resident they are working as fast as they can, but this is just one of the neighborhoods. So we've got damage to the infrastructure all across the region. We also have a lot of street lights in the area that are still not working. This is a big issue because the traffic that can be created when you have two intersections, you have a big intersection with no streetlights. I mean, this changes the flow of traffic tremendously, and that can also be dangerous. So they are focusing on getting the power reestablished to a lot of these areas that need those streetlights and communities like this one. So there's no saying, like I said, the company said it could be days. They think it's going to be days and not weeks, but there's still a lot of work to be done because, like I just mentioned, in this neighborhood, they have not seen a truck with the power company come assess the damage. And after they assess the damage, they still have to begin taking out these broken utility poles, bring the new ones, clear the power lines. So there's still a lot of work to be done before people can get their power back in all of these affected areas, Gadi.
Quite the snapshot of how much work needs to be done there to get power back on. Gadi Venegas out in Florida. Thank you so much, Gadi. And parts of Florida are still reeling from a string of deadly tornadoes that ripped through the state as Milton made landfall. And NBC's Stephanie Gosk has the latest on that.
Tonight in the Spanish Lakes retirement community, they are still searching through shredded mobile homes looking for victims.
We're yelling out, looking for signs of life. We have dogs out there sniffing.
The residents here were braced for Hurricane Milton. What they got were tornadoes.
Authorities are keeping the public out while they're searching, but from this vantage point, you can see over the canal and into the neighborhood. That's a home on top of another home. And damage like that extends all the way down that street.
6 of the 17 people killed by Hurricane Milton lived in Spanish Lakes, and there is concern that number may go up. Among those who died, 66-year-old Debbie Kennedy.
I asked questions for hours. I tried to get people to go over there and look for
her daughter, Brandy, eventually getting the devastating news.
Nobody expected that type of event to happen, especially hours before the storm was even due to hit.
When the tornadoes ripped through Fort Pierce, the eye of Hurricane Milton hadn't even made landfall. According to a county spokesperson, in the span of just a couple of hours, 911 received nearly 1,000 calls.
It pulled it out, flew away.
Logan and Kylie Barbary hid in the bathroom with their 2 babies and their dogs while the outdoor patio was entirely ripped off.
It is the most terrifying experience I've ever had in my life.
And you have your babies there.
Yeah. And so to have them survive is just like, and us survive, like that's all I need.
Heartbroken now, she says, for the loss of life and the destruction in her hometown.
These things do get ripped from you and you aren't expecting that, you know.
In this hurricane, the most lethal punch came nowhere near landfall, and they didn't see it coming.
Hurricanes typically trigger weaker tornadoes, EF0s, EF1s, but in 2024, 3 hurricanes triggered EF3s, and that was before Milton. Back to you.
Stephanie Gosk, thank you. And joining us now is Todd Dunn from Charlotte County Public Safety Department. Charlotte County is on the water there. Can you take us through the last 24 hours? What have they been like for you guys?
It's been busy. And so we've had today, our county staff was able to get out onto our Barrier Island, Minnesota Key, which people will probably know where Inglewood Beach is. That's where Inglewood Beach is. And the devastation out there is just horrific. We had historic storm surge from Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton. 10 days later, the damage that we're seeing surpassed what Hurricane Helene did. So we're reeling from 2 big hits from hurricanes. So it's been challenging.
And are the barrier islands there, are they all in the same kind of condition? And are people still trapped there?
Well, what happened from Helene, people heeded the message to. Some did not evacuate during Helene. For example, we have a bridgeless barrier island. After Helene, we have a fire station on that island. We evacuated when the evacuation orders were given, and they took a head count, a family count. There was about 60 after Helene. When we left for Hurricane Milton, there were 4. So people heeded that message.
Wow.
We saw about 3,000 people take advantage of our shelters. We had 4 shelters in the county open. So I think that made a difference. People heeded the message. So we didn't see that level of people being rescued. And every storm is different, right, too? So after Helene, first responders, Charlotte County Fire and EMS, as well as Inglewood Fire and Punta Gorda Fire here in our county, they rescued about 180 people. We did not do, Charlotte County Fire and EMS did not do any water rescues after Milton. And part of that, too, was the storm receded very fast. The storm surge receded fast.
And I mean, so much credit to those who heeded the evacuation orders there. But when those who lived on the barrier islands come back, what are they going to find?
They're going to find a lot of devastation. We were able to get out today. Our first day, we found 12 destroyed homes, 315 with major damage, 246 with minor damage, and about 83 with just a little cosmetic damage, broken windows, siding, and stuff like that. And that's after the first day. So the sheriff's office is not letting anybody onto the barrier islands right now just because it's not safe. With all the power lines, our public works crews haven't even been able to make a dent in some of the sand that they're seeing. So sand's coming off the beach with the storm surge through people's homes. And I saw a picture with sand counter height deep in a house. And there's been reports of sand about 5 feet. Think of a snowdrift for all of my northern friends. That's what it looks like with sand across the roads in places.
And Todd, you've now gone through 2 storms here. Are you worried that, hurricane season is not over this year?
Well, yeah, I think all of us are like, okay, we've had enough, right? But hurricane season goes through the November 30th. Hopefully, we won't be in the crosshairs anymore for them. I think I'm proud of the county and the response, my coworkers, and we were prepared as best as we could have been. But yeah, we need a break.
Yeah, absolutely. Todd Dunn from Charlotte County Public Safety, thank you so much for what you and your team are doing right now. And our prayers go out to your community.
Thank you.
And as we mentioned earlier, while Hurricane Milton brought wind, rain, and destruction to Florida, in all of that chaos, there was new life. We want to show you this. This is a picture of baby Dewey. And before he got here, his parents made a trek to a hospital in a whole different county as the hurricane barreled through the state. NBC News correspondent Stephen Romo has their remarkable story.
Yeah, Gadi, this was stressful right from the start. They had to drive a half an hour through the wind and the rain, all while they weren't even sure if the hospital would keep them or turn them around and send them home. As Hurricane Milton was bearing down on Florida's Gulf Coast, Kinsey Llewellyn was bearing down in labor.
We were very nervous that I was going to be in labor during the hurricane at home.
And Dad, Dewey Bennett III, was nervous too.
At 4 a.m., she woke me up saying, I'm having contractions.
Not just because Kinsey's contractions had kicked in as the hurricane was approaching, but because during Hurricane Irma, they lived through a painful experience trying to get medical care for a loved one.
Back in 2017, my dad had a massive heart attack because the ambulance could not come out to us during the storm. So he later that day passed away.
With that concern looming over them and Milton not far behind, the Port Charlotte couple decided to travel to a hospital in Venice, knowing they may be sent home if labor wasn't far enough along.
She was so far and having contractions that they went ahead and admitted us. That took a lot of stress off my shoulders.
And as Kinsey labored, they watched the storm from the hospital's windows.
And I'm like, oh, that tree looks like it's going to fly out of the ground. We were just watching the storm and the wind and the rain go crazy.
After more than 10 hours in labor and an unplanned C-section, their first child, Dewey Bennett IV, was born.
He's the cutest baby.
I always told myself, that, I would never name my kid, Dewey, until my dad passed away.
While one hurricane contributed to the death of Dewey II, Hurricane Milton will be remembered for the birth of a brand new Dewey.
I kind of feel like it was fate.
Of course, glad to see that it had a happy ending there. By the way, the couple did consider evacuating, going to the eastern side of Florida, but they say they're glad they didn't do that because that same area they planned on possibly going to ended up getting hit with some of those tornadoes we've been talking about. Gadi?
Stephen Romo, thank you. Now, if there's one thing that we've heard before is that weather people always get it wrong, right? But this time, meteorologists are getting a lot of well-deserved praise for actually accurately forecasting Hurricane Milton's path. And let's take a look at the National Hurricane Center's first forecast back when Milton was just a tropical depression. That advisory tells us that the depression is going to move across the Gulf of Mexico and approach Florida's west coast by the middle of the week. Now let's take a look at the same maps. This is a time lapse of every cone graphic released this week from the National Hurricane Center. You can see the path of the storm is not changing very much, and keep your eye on that yellow dot with the X in it. That is Milton. You can see it slowly approaching Florida's west coast, highlighted in red. Then you see it make landfall in Siesta Key. That's exactly where they said it would. So how were meteorologists able to predict this storm so precisely? Well, our own meteorologist, Bill Cairns, is here to tell us how. Bill?
Gadi, it was an amazing forecast, and as you showed how accurate it is from the very beginning when the storm was first being tracked by the Hurricane Center. And, it's good because a lot of times scientists, you give them a hard time if they get it wrong. It's kind of nice to give them a pat on the back when they get it right. And this was really right. So this is the first forecast that was shown from the National Hurricane Center. This goes back to Saturday. And you could just see, they had it becoming a major hurricane. Of course, they didn't have it becoming a Category 5, but they still had it being a major hurricane. And then coming just north of Tampa Bay, almost right over downtown Tampa. And that was the very first forecast. And then right off the Space Coast here in southern Volusia County. And then, of course, the forecast never really changed much. It always was really focused on central Florida. It jiggled a little bit between Sarasota and Tampa, but that's kind of where it was the whole time. So let's take a closer look, and I want to show you and kind of open the curtain here and behind the scenes. The Hurricane Center, like any good scientist, is going to actually show you their errors. And so this is a 3-day average forecast error. So that's the position where they think the storm's going to be in 3 days. So in the 1970s, they were off by about 380 miles. In the 80s, it was 345. And as technology has gotten better, our supercomputers, we've gotten better at forecasting too. In the 2000s, 155. And now the average 3-day forecast error is about 90 miles. And that's an important time frame because that's when emergency managers have to start organizing things, thinking about evacuations, what they're going to do. So 3 days in advance before the landfall, this was the forecast from the National Hurricane Center. Category 3, south of Tampa, north of Sarasota, with 125-mile-per-hour winds. Now let's look what the actual forecast was. It made landfall at 8:30 p.m. Wednesday, 120-mile-per-hour winds. That is incredible. This is a distance of only 25 miles. That's the air. So emergency managers and everyone had a huge heads up and could make the plans necessary well in advance. I mean, it's incredible. The intensity was that close, too. The track forecast used to be bad, and now they've gotten a lot better over the years. The intensity forecasting, and sometimes is something still to be desired. Notice that back in 1995, the average intensity still was average off by about 18 miles per hour. That's like how strong the winds are. And we've gotten a little bit better here, especially in the last 5 years, but it hasn't had that dramatic improvement like we've had with the average track intensity. So it's been pretty cool how well they did. And the best news of all, Gadi, is that there's no new signs of any storms coming. We get a lull. We get the break. Florida has great weather as we head through the upcoming weekend. There's a couple systems out far in the Atlantic, but they're not going to affect anyone. Maybe in about a week and a half, we could see something trying to form here in the Western Caribbean or off the coast of Mexico in the Pacific. But even that is, less than a flip of a coin. So, Gadi, hopefully we're done with all these big storms. The hurricane season does go to the end of November, but it's pretty rare to get big storms in November that hit the U.S.
Yeah, still so much time before the end of the season. Bill Cairns, thank you. Don't go anywhere. We are just getting started on Stay Tuned. Up next, the campaign trail. Trump is in Nevada tonight while Harris is wrapping up her tour of the southwestern states. Their message to voters with just 25 days left until Election Day. Plus, Elon Musk announces the fully driverless cybercab. No steering wheel, no pedals, a whole heap of AI. We've got more details ahead in tonight's edition of The Future of Everything and adding caffeine to college curriculum. I'm going to take you inside this super popular class at UC Davis. It studies how to make the perfect cup of coffee. That's coming up later this hour, so stay tuned.
I usually don't drink coffee black. It's going to have a little more hint of a bitterness to it.
Wow. Look at this, look at this, look at this. Look at this. Oh, goosebumps. Hey, welcome back. And here are some of the other headlines we're watching tonight. A water main break is flooding a major street in Boston for the second time in just 2 weeks. Now, this latest flood causing a sinkhole in the street, and that swallowed a car. City officials are still trying to figure out what caused the breaks. They're going to keep the water shut off while they're doing repairs. And 2 people were killed in a chemical leak, and it happened at an industrial plant near Houston, Texas. It was some sort of hydrogen leak that was reported last night. Dozens of others there were triaged at the scene, and people nearby were told to shelter in place. The city says the air is safe with no reports of hazardous pollutants. And a New York family is suing a funeral home after a TikTok video showed their mother's casket was sent to the wrong country. It was supposed to go to Ecuador, where she's buried, but the video shows the casket in Guatemala at a burial meant for a 38-year-old man. Both bodies were apparently prepared by the same funeral home. The family eventually moved their mother back to Ecuador. They are now suing the Rivera Funeral Home, which didn't comment on the situation. And a federal judge is hearing objections to Boeing's settlement with the DOJ after they struck a deal for those deadly 737 MAX crashes. Families of the victims are now asking the judge to throw out the deal, saying the company was let off easy. Boeing pleaded guilty to 1 count of conspiring to defraud regulators. The settlement calls for Boeing to pay a fine and be placed on probation. Family members want Boeing on trial, where the company could face tougher punishment. And a bunch of cities are asking the Trump campaign to pay up after they supposedly owe costs to local police. Now, 4 cities and a county confirmed to NBC News that they are still waiting for bills dating back 8 years. The final price tag is more than $750,000 for those 5 places. And the Trump campaign said questions related to local law enforcement should be directed to the Secret Service. And let's go now to the campaign trails, where both candidates are making their case to voters in the final weeks until Election Day. Former President Trump is expected to take the stage in Reno, Nevada any moment now. But before making his way to Reno, he made a stop in Aurora, Colorado today. And this is what that rally looked like. There were lots of signs reading, "Deport illegals now, end migrant crime." Trump has repeatedly made claims that Aurora is plagued by gang violence and migrant crime. And that's what he made today's stop all about. Take a listen.
I will rescue Aurora and every town that has been invaded and conquered. We will put these vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail or kick them out of our country, and we will be very, very effective in doing it.
And let's bring in NBC's Steve Patterson from Reno, Nevada right now. But before we talk about what's happening in Reno, I do want to ask you, Steve, about that visit to Aurora. How are those that live there in Aurora receiving all that messaging?
Not well. You know, NBC News reached out to the police chief, to the mayor of Aurora. Both are saying that what Donald Trump is saying is happening in Aurora is not actually happening. And what he's saying, let me check my notes here. He says, quote, "In Aurora, multiple apartment complexes are being taken over by savage Venezuelan prison gangs." Donald Trump wants people to believe what he's saying about what is happening in both Ohio and Aurora. He wants people to be scared about what is happening in Aurora, and he wants to sell you the solution, which is, of course, voting for Donald Trump. Donald Trump also saying that he has the solution called Operation Aurora, making headlines today by saying that he essentially would unequivocally deport any undocumented gang-affiliated person that he can find out of of this country. You have to excuse me, it's very loud. Stephen Miller, his advisor, has just taken the stage, in which we expect Donald Trump in just a few minutes. But that is the brand, that is the message. It is not a byproduct of his campaign. It is one of the core tenets of his campaign, and he espoused it extremely hard today. Gadi.
And Steve, Nevada has been pretty interesting, too. They're showing the dead heat. Some of those polls, right? Can you talk to us about that, and why is the state so important to both candidates right now?
Yeah, first, I wouldn't trust the polls whatsoever. The margins are so razor thin and so within the margin of error that you almost can't trust them. It is a dead heat in this state, a state that is traditionally, historically very important. As goes Nevada, so goes the rest of the country. The last 10 out of the 12 elections that we've had for the White House have been decided in Nevada. It has a 90% win rate. Basically, if Nevadans vote for who they think is going to be president, that person is going to be president of the United States. Not only that, but it is very, very purple. This is one of those swing states that truly is a purple state. More than 40% of the population are actually registered as nonpartisans. That's higher than Democrats. It's higher than Republicans. And so people here are really, really fixated on the issues. This is a place where you have 2 Democratic female Latino senators and 1 male Republican governor. It is purple as can be. And so things like the economy and a lot of issues that both candidates are talking about right now, very core here. They will matter. And if they matter here, they matter to the rest of the country. Got him?
Meanwhile, next stop is Coachella, right? Coachella, California. That visit, I mean, it's California. It's being met with some critique by the locals there. What can you tell us? What can we expect there?
Yeah, not only critiqued by the locals, Gadi, but by people across the country. They're wondering why Donald Trump would go to Coachella in a very blue place that's not going to change when he's got 7 core states that he needs to focus on. I think one of those reasons might be, obviously it's glad-handing with donors that are in the state in that area as well. But people are sort of wondering why he's doing it in the first place. Number 2, which would be important to me if I was covering it, is it's going to be like 100+ degrees, extremely hot, almost dangerously hot for anybody that is standing outside waiting for a rally. But also, the mayor of Coachella has said that essentially Donald Trump is not welcome there, doesn't believe in his beliefs, doesn't believe in some of the things that he said about marginalized groups, about women, about the LGBTQ community. And so people there are a little bit angry that he's coming, but I don't think they can stop it. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens when those folks are on the ground in 100+ degree temperatures. Got it?
Steve Patterson, thanks so much for taking the time. I don't know how you're able to talk and also listen to all of that, but thanks so much for being with us, brother. Meanwhile, Vice President Kamala Harris wrapped up her visit to Arizona today, holding a rally in Phoenix yesterday and Scottsdale today, both coming as early voting has started in Arizona. This is Democrats are going all out, bringing in big names to the trail like former President Barack Obama, who will be in Arizona next week. But before that, he was in Pennsylvania last night with one big message for black voters. NBC's Gabe Gutierrez has more on all of it. Hey there, Gabe.
Hey, Gadi, a senior campaign official says they want to have candid conversations with black men across battleground states. So on Tuesday, the vice president is now scheduled to hold a town hall in Detroit with popular radio host Charlamagne tha God, who has millions of listeners, part of a larger strategy to hold on to a key constituency for Democrats. Tonight, with just 25 days to go, the Harris campaign with an all-out push for critical swing voters. The vice president in battleground Arizona.
This is a fight that is not against something as much as it is a fight that is for something.
After former President Obama campaigned for Harris for the first time in must-win Pennsylvania, arguing he was responsible for the strong economy during the Trump years.
Yeah, it was pretty good because it was my economy.
And in a striking admission, Obama, one of Harris's most high-profile backers, acknowledged her campaign has an enthusiasm problem among black voters.
We have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers.
Obama speaking bluntly about his concerns why some black men may not be supporting Harris.
Part of it makes me think that, well, You just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president.
By far, Harris still leads former President Trump among young black men.
She is somebody who is going to fight for freedom, and I really like her message of turning the page. Honestly, I'm tired of the things that Donald Trump says and like what he stands for.
But polls suggest Trump has cut into Democrats' advantage since 2020, and that could be crucial in tight battlegrounds like Pennsylvania. A question now, will Obama have an impact?
I feel like blacks have been used for their vote for years.
LaQuette Dickey voted for Obama twice. Since then, he switched to Trump over Harris.
She hasn't answered anything about any of her policies, any of them. So there's no clear line of what her policies are.
Former President Bill Clinton is also expected to meet with voters next week in Georgia and North Carolina, as the Harris campaign ramps up its outreach to rural areas as well. Gadi?
Gabe Gutierrez, thank you. And tensions in the Middle East after yet another deadly Israeli airstrike rocks Lebanon's capital. This is Israel is facing more backlash from world leaders. We've got the latest coming up next. But first, you got to see this. A woman in Washington state had to call police for help after she said dozens of masked bandits were swarming her house day and night demanding food. She told police she'd been feeding a family of raccoons for decades, and it was all fine up until a few weeks ago when they started bringing a bunch of friends. Quick reminder, don't feed the raccoons, because next thing you know, there were 50 to like 100 of them. She had to leave her home as they grew more aggressive, but those critters, they've started to disperse since she stopped feeding them. Who would have thunk? We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. Let's take a quick look around the world. North Korea is now saying South Korea is sending drones over their capital to drop propaganda leaflets, and it is threatening military action if it keeps it up. North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un is calling the propaganda slander against his government, adding that his military was preparing a, quote, all means of attack. And a true titan of industry has died. India's Ratan Tata, the former chairman of the Tata Group, has passed away yesterday. He was 86 years old. Now, under his leadership, the Tata Group went from an Indian conglomerate to a massive global firm. In one of his most popular moves, Tata led the production of the world's cheapest car. It was around $2,000, which was affordable for the average Indian consumer. And Chinese police have arrested 4 workers of the Taiwanese iPhone maker Foxconn. Taiwanese officials assumed that this might be connected to corruption and abuse of power by Chinese security officials. And earlier this June, Taiwanese government officials raised its travel warning for China, telling its people not to travel unless you have to. And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky met with the Pope at the Vatican today, and it was their second private meeting since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, though they did chat at the G7 summit in Italy back in June. And turning now to Beiruit, a day after Israeli strikes reduced parts of the city to rubble, at least 22 people were killed. More than 100 others were hurt. Let's go to NBC's Danielle Hamamdjian for more.
Well, central Beiruit is still reeling tonight from those airstrikes yesterday. Residents in the area thought this was a safe area, not like the suburb of Dahya, which had been repeatedly struck because it was a Hezbollah stronghold. Now, we understand that the target of these strikes was a Hezbollah commander, but according to Israeli media, he managed to escape. But in trying to kill this Hezbollah commander, Israel also killed at least 22 people and injured more than 100. This was the deadliest bombardment yet in Beirut since the conflict began last month. Now, further south along the border, where UN peacekeepers have had a presence there since the late 70s, 2 UN peacekeepers were injured by Israeli forces when they fired on positions belonging to the UN. That's according to officials. This is the second incident in 2 days. According to the IDF, they don't dispute that 2 UN peacekeepers were injured, but they do say that their own soldiers identified an immediate threat against its forces and responded with fire. An investigation is now underway. This is significant because Israel is, of course, a member state of the UN, and having fired on peacekeepers belonging to the UN, this has been condemned around the world. In fact, tonight, France, Italy, and Spain have released a statement saying that they are outraged by this incident, condemning it, and saying that this was a violation of international law. The U.S. has not condemned the incident, but the U.S. Secretary of Defense tonight urging his Israeli counterpart to ensure the safety of those UN peacekeepers. Now, finally, of course, the region is on edge as it awaits Israel's strike against Iran following the barrage of missiles launched towards Israel last week. It is weighing its options, but according to two diplomats in the region, Iran has been warning Arab nations in the Gulf to not open their airspace to Israel in any retaliatory strike, or else Iran will be considering those countries participants in the war, and therefore targeting them would be considered fair game.
Danielle Hamanjan, thank you so much. Now, turning to this story, when the U.S. dropped the first ever atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, it ended World War II. But the questions about the morality of those bombings have lingered ever since. Well, this year, survivors of those atomic bombs are being awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for their work to abolish nuclear weapons for good. And NBC's international correspondent Janice Mackey-Frayer has more. And a warning, some of the images we're going to show you are disturbing.
Nihon Hadankyo, a grassroots group of atomic bomb survivors from Hiroshima and Nagasaki, was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for its work to show the world the horror of nuclear weapons. In making the announcement, the Nobel Committee chair said the survivors help us to, quote, think the unthinkable and to somehow grasp the incomprehensible pain and suffering caused by nuclear weapons. The organization was founded in 1956, 11 years after World War II ended. The survivors, known in Japan as hibakusha, have since spent decades going around the world to share their experiences of living with the physical effects of radiation exposure, as well as the trauma, social stigma, and survivors' guilt. The bombs were dropped by the U.S. on the two cities just days apart in August 1945, killing an estimated 200,000 people. The group's founding statement says, quote, humanity must never again inflict nor suffer the sacrifice and torture that we've experienced. In awarding the prestigious prize, the Nobel Committee said that the world hasn't seen nuclear weapons used in nearly 80 years, but implied the threat these days is on the rise with wars and instability. The Peace Research Institute in Oslo said that in this age of automated and AI-driven warfare, this group's call for disarmament is not just, quote, historical, they call it a critical message for the future. Plus, the hibakusha are getting older. With an average age of 85 and plagued with health problems, the survivors are seen as a last living memorial. The group has been nominated twice before for the Nobel Peace Prize. The president was watching the announcement today in Hiroshima and said, weeping, please abolish nuclear weapons while we are alive.
Such an important nomination there. Janice Mackey-Frayer, thank you. And coming up, Elon Musk is taking autonomous driving to a whole nother level, unveiling his plans for cyber cabs powered by AI and notably missing steering wheels and pedals. More on that coming up next. And now an update from Colorado, where one person was killed and over a dozen people, including children, got trapped in a tourist gold mine yesterday. Authorities are now investigating what caused the elevator to malfunction that led to that entire tragedy. And NBC's Liz Kreutz has more.
Well, hey, Gadi, yeah, we are learning new details now about what happened here at this gold mine. Just a traumatic situation here. And we know the victim now was that 46-year-old man who was an employee here, a tour guide at the mine. We don't know how long he worked here, but it's very clear that he was an integral part of this mine and of this tight-knit historic mining community. In fact, here you can see some people have come and already left flowers for him. It's a solemn scene here, and it's notable that people in the community, officials as well, are not necessarily pointing blame at the mine. They say that actually the family that owns this mine stepped in to help with the rescue, and their expertise in terms of understanding how the mine operates helped them get those people out safely. You can see there that tower, that is the outside outside part of the elevator. Tourists go inside that elevator. It then takes them down 1,000 feet underground. 500 feet down is where the elevator malfunctioned, and the sheriff today told me that he believes it was the door on the elevator that malfunctioned. We still don't know what exactly, though, happened that then led to that man getting killed. Obviously, upsetting for the folks that were there on the elevator as well. Now, as far as what's next for the mine, it is closed here, Gadi, for the season as the investigation continues. OSHA is now investigating here as well. And officials have made a point of highlighting both the economic and the historical significance of this mine. And they say that they are hopeful that it will eventually reopen. Gadi.
Liz Kreutz, thank you. And this year, Tesla was ranked as the world's most valuable car brand. And now Elon Musk is unveiling his latest product, a driverless robotaxi. He showed off the Cybercab last night at an event at Warner Brothers Studios here in Los Angeles, and it was pretty wild. Take a look. At Tesla's We Robot event in L.A. overnight, a glimpse at what could be the future of driving.
We have 50 fully autonomous cars here tonight.
CEO Elon Musk unveiling what he says is the company's first fully self-driving robotaxi. The two-door cab with no steering wheel and no pedals is powered by AI and will cost around $30,000.
We'll see autonomous cars become 10 times safer than a human.
The new car is expected to hit the road by 2027. Musk also announcing a robo-van that can carry up to 20 people.
The future should look like the future. Now, can you imagine going down the streets and you see this coming towards you?
And that wasn't all.
So you could have your own personal R2-D2 C-3PO.
Check out Tesla humanoid robot Optimus.
It can do anything you want. So it can be a teacher, babysit your kids. It can walk your dog, mow your lawn.
It's the first product launch for Tesla since the Cybertruck was announced with a bang in 2019.
Oh, my God.
Thursday's event marking a milestone for the automaker and Musk, whose self-driving dreams have been delayed by almost a decade. Today, Teslas with full self-driving capabilities still need a human in the driver's seat, ready to take the wheel if something goes wrong.
You must be fully attentive and have your hands on the wheel at all times while driving.
And even that tech is under scrutiny. Earlier this year, federal regulators said a critical safety gap in Tesla's self-driving systems contributed to at least 467 collisions, including 14 deaths. Now Tesla's taxi is veering the company into a lane with stiff competition.
It's just me and the steering wheel here.
Google's Waymo cars have now logged more than 22 million driverless miles across 4 cities. But Tesla already has the highest-selling EV in the world.
Let's get the party started.
And with its new ride, the company could go into overdrive. Now, while Musk admitted he tends to be a little optimistic, the market today did not seem to be optimistic. The Tesla stock tumbled about 9% after that announcement. A vague timeline and lack of details in general seemed to be driving the lack of enthusiasm, so we shall see. Before we go, you ever catch some paranormal guests creeping around on your doorbell camera? Well, Ring is offering a huge cash prize for the spookiest, ghouliest, chilling encounter caught on camera. More on how to enter if you dare. Plus, the key to brewing up the perfect cup of joe could lie in the hands of students at UC Davis in California. I got a chance to visit their coffee lab and see the science that goes into making the perfect perky blend. This is the assignment of the day, huh?
Yes.
Cheers.
Perfect for a morning class. Win-win, right?
Oh, that's an A, guys.
Yeah.
That's an A over here. And we are officially in spooky season, and that means witches, goblins, ghosts are all out and about. And if you're up for filming something that goes bump in the night on your doorbell camera, well, it could earn you some cold, hard cash. Ring is back with another challenge after last year's extraterrestrial contest went viral. This year, Ring is offering $100 grand to anyone who uses their camera to capture the best video of the greatest ghost sighting out there.
That's why I've decided to team up with Ring for their great ghost search. If you've got ghosts, you can win $100,000 to help you get away from them. From now until November 1st, you can submit any funny, serious, or silly ghost footage to ring.com/ghost search. And together with Ring, I'll help pick out one lucky winner to win $100,000.
I mean, if you haunt it, flaunt it, I guess. Let's bring in Mimi Swain now, the Chief Commercial Officer for Ring, to talk a little bit more about this contest. Mimi, thanks so much for being with us. Okay, so hold on. Ghosts, like real ghosts, or people dressing up to be ghosts that are really creative? What are we talking here this year?
Gadi, thanks for having me. Really, we're talking about just all kinds of things. I think we've been, so lucky that our, customers love us for the connection that we bring to their homes. And over the years, we've just seen just incredible videos that they've sent us of, floating orbs and mysterious shadows, or pranks that, friends and family are playing. And so, this great ghost search campaign was really a big part of, celebrating, those mysterious moments that are caught on camera.
It's funny that you say orbs, because that's one of the first things that I remember about when Rings first came out. Like, there were orb videos everywhere, and orbs seem to be doing some very weird things, whether they're dust mites or, I don't know, extraterrestrial or interdimensional pieces of something. Still yet to be seen, I guess. But what was the inspiration behind all of this?
Well, as you mentioned, last year we had our, $1 million search for extraterrestrial, and we had so many incredible submissions. And so part of the inspiration for the Ring Great Ghost Search this year was really about how do we celebrate those moments that are happening, that customers capture, those unexpected moments that capture on their cameras around their home. And so, we wanted to celebrate that through this contest.
Now, you've worked for Ring for a little while now.
I have.
Have you seen some videos that you're just like, I can't explain that?
Absolutely. The universe is wide, and so there's just all kinds of things that, like, our cameras are able to capture that just are a little bit unexplainable.
And what's it going to take to snag this $100,000 prize?
I mean, it's going to take some real paranormal activity, but our Ring users are an incredibly creative bunch, and so we're expecting to get, a ton of submissions, and we have already of folks just being really creative and just capturing all these mysterious things happening, around their home.
Has the community started to do this in the past without a contest like this?
Every day we hear from customers about, like, the unexpected moments that are happening at their front door or around their home, whether it's wild animal crossings or package deliveries or kids who are using the doorbell as a way to connect with their parents. And so it's just it's a natural part of, the business where folks are sharing these things that are happening, and we see it all through social. I'm sure you have a favorite video you've seen.
I mean, that bear one is a pretty good one. What's your favorite?
We have a video actually of a customer named Joey who collapsed in front of his front door, and his wife got a motion alert, and she checked on the camera and actually saw that he had collapsed, and so she was able to call a neighbor to go check on him, and he ended up being okay. But she was able, through the Ring device, which is so powerful, to get Joey the help that he needed.
Wow, saving lives, and then hopefully giving us a glimpse of the life beyond.
Absolutely.
We'll see.
Absolutely.
Mimi, thanks so much for joining us. And turning now from ghosts to roasts, I got this first-hand look at a California campus that is brewing something special. UC Davis is offering a class called The Design of Coffee, and the cup I had there is legit the best cup of joe I've ever had in my entire life. Take a look.
Learning to brew your own coffee is usually a rite of passage on any college campus.
You guys have like a coffee lab.
But at UC Davis in California, Java isn't just a percolating prerequisite. The Design of Coffee is a full-on engineering elective, filtering through more than 2,000 undergraduate students every year.
The water moves through the coffee grounds as a function of how hard you push on it.
It all started when professors Bill Ristenpark and Tanya Kuhl wanted to bring hands-on lab work to chemical engineering students.
You guys are ruining coffee for me already, I can tell.
And that jolted an entire course.
Coffee was a mechanism where they could do experiments with chemical engineering in a safe way.
How popular is this class?
A few years ago, the student newspaper ran a survey. 3 was introduction to beer brewing. Number 2 was introduction to human sexuality. Number 1 was coffee.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Wait a minute. You guys beat beer. You guys beat
we
sex
beat beer.
ed.
Yeah, at UC Davis, coffee is more popular than beer and sex.
That smells delicious. It's black. I usually don't drink coffee black.
It's going to have a little more hint of a bitterness to it.
Wow. Look at this, look at this, look at this. Look at this. Oh, goosebumps.
This is a blend of coffee from Peru and Timor-Leste.
Tim Stachinsky is the head roaster at the new state-of-the-art coffee research lab. And he explained while eyes are deceiving, the best roasters rely on smell and sound. Take a listen to this.
Popcorn. It sounds like popcorn.
That's right, that first crack is the cornerstone of how any of us take our coffee. You know, light to dark roasts? Well, anything right after that first little chemical explosion of a coffee bean is considered light, then medium as the roasting timer keeps running up until you hear a second crack. Then you're entering dark roast territory.
Coffee seems simple. You know, it's like, how hard is it to pour hot water over a brown powder? But once you get in the details, like very minor changes in how you roast it, how you brew it, have a tremendous impact on the flavor of the coffee.
It sounds like all your courses, it's everything from history of the world to culture to like thermodynamics to chemical engineering, all of it in a cup of coffee.
And those finer details of roasting have proven to be a perfect playground for engineers.
So this is the assignment of the day, huh?
Yes.
Cheers.
Perfect for a morning class. Win-win, right?
Oh, that's an A, guys.
Yeah.
That's an A over here. Wow. Wait, so what did you guys write down on this one? Sensory evaluations, disgusting, really burnt and bitter. What, do I want to taste a bad one? Okay, let's do it. Bottoms up. This is bad coffee right here. Scientifically proven to be bad coffee. Wow, good job with the bad coffee.
The best cup of coffee I've ever had in my life was in this class. They came in, the TA called me over and said, "You gotta taste this." And I was astonished. I said, like, what'd you guys do? How did you make this? And like, they had this like very frantic conversation. They were like looking through all their notes, and he said, "Professor, sorry, we didn't write it down."
No! So, which means the recipe for the perfect cup of coffee is still waiting to be found. And hopefully this time, someone will write it down.
To the future of coffee. Cheers. Oh, that's the stuff right there. Oh, man, that story has ruined coffee for me forever. I now drink it black, and I am very meticulous about how I put it together, and I still cannot recreate what they did there. Incredible stuff. Thank you guys so much. And finally tonight, if you heard your friends and neighbors outside last night looking up at the sky, that's because the northern lights were visible for this huge chunk of the country, and they might be back again tonight. Joe Fryer's here to tell us more about the dazzling spectacle in tonight's 60 Seconds of Joy.
It looked like someone brushed a pack of neon highlighters across nature's ceiling. A tie-dye sky draped across much of the country. Wisconsin, New Jersey, the U.S. capital. In Indiana, it was as if Earth's atmosphere decorated for Christmas early. The Aurora Borealis is a show with admission typically reserved for colder climates like Alaska or Iceland. But last night, this northern light was a southern sight. It stretched to Texas, Alabama, Florida. The reason for such a heavenly display, an unusually mighty solar storm created by a huge burst of energy known as a coronal mass ejection. Experts warned all that energy could have disrupted power or communications down here on Earth, but all it seemed to do was power our wonder. And odds are good many across the country will see it again soon. A rare kind of storm lighting up the sky in the best way possible. Joe Fryer, NBC News.
Joe Fryer, thank you. And that's going to do it for us tonight. I'm Gadi Schwartz. We'll see you here Monday. But until then, stay tuned now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.